Hello and welcome to the Brad Garlinghouse 2022 Decode. This is a tongue-in-cheek decode only by an XRP enthusiast and should not be considered financial advice. Thank you. So today I'd like to discuss four general topics. Topic one being dates and gematria voodoo. Topic two, bearable guy 123 and 589 Phoenix rising. Topic three, deity and biblical connections. And finally, topic four, final thoughts and whether XRP could be just a sophisticated PSYOP scam coin. Topic one, dates and gematria voodoo. The Brad Garlinghouse 2022 video was 33 seconds long and posted by Ripple on the 1st of April 2019, April Fool's Day, at 5:22 p.m. on Facebook. In this video, Brad stands in front of a digital clock with the words 20 to 2 highlighted. The gist of his speech is that Ripple is thrilled to be a founding member of the INA TBA, and in it, he mentions it being a pivotal time for the distributed ledger technology industry, and that it is critical the industry comes together to engage with regulators and governments globally. They are thrilled to be involved and look forward to being a leading participant. Now, this is a rather interesting choice of words, considering what happened the following year when the SEC sued Ripple on the 21st of December 2020. So could the 20 to 2 on the clock behind Brad actually be some sort of riddle that was hinting at a lot more than it first appears? Typing 20 to 2 into the gematria calculator, we get different numerical values for the phrase depending on which cipher is used. So in Hebrew gematria, the number we would get would be 2745. In English gematria, it would be 1200. And in simple gematria, 200. So these three ciphers actually connect in their numerical value to some other quite interesting phrases. Some are astrology and deity based, while others have links to death and rebirth. The ones I'll be looking at in this decode are Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, which in Hebrew gematria is equivalent to 2745. The Phoenix rising, which in English gematria is 1200, and also in simple gematria is 200. And Lord Jesus Christ, which in English gematria is 1200 and simple gematria 200. So looking at the first pair of phrases, Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, and the 20 to 2 phrase, we see that they both have the same numerical value in the Hebrew gematria cipher, which is 2745. Now, when Jupiter and Saturn align in the sky, it is called a great conjunction. To the observer, it can appear to be a singular, very bright star. The last Jupiter and Saturn conjunction took place on the 21st of December 2020, which is the exact date the Ripple SEC lawsuit began. The 2020 Great Conjunction was actually a particularly close one, and although great conjunctions can occur to some degree approximately every 20 years or so, such a close alignment between Saturn and Jupiter had not occurred for hundreds of years prior to the lawsuit date. Now, for those of you who have watched the Waters Above XRP Decode in his crypto decoding blueprint course, which I did find fascinating and well worth the money, you will be aware there is a paternal connection between Saturn and Jupiter, and a similar paternal connection exists between Jupiter and XRP. So what are the odds that the XRP lawsuit begins during one of the closest great conjunctions between Jupiter and Saturn in hundreds of years, and that the cipher for it matches to the words on the clock behind Brad Garlinghouse in the 33-second video, where of all things he talks about, he's looking forward to engaging with the regulators. This gematria voodoo can be scarily on point at times. Topic 2. Bearable Guy 123 and the 589 Phoenix Rising. So XRP has been associated with 589 and the Phoenix for quite some time now. Here on the right, you can see Brad Garlinghouse pointing to a phoenix on a wall montage at his old AOL workplace. Most XRP holders will also likely be familiar with the Phoenix and 589 from the Bearable Guy 123 XRP riddles. In one of Bearable Guy 123's earlier posts, he quotes, "In order to rise from its own ashes, a phoenix must first burn," and he quotes Butler. This quote was taken from a novel by Octavia E. Butler, Parable of the Talents, and we will discuss this again in more detail later. The Phoenix and cryptocurrency. XRP is one of several cryptocurrency coins that are believed by some community members to be a metaphorical phoenix. Its value has dropped considerably since its all-time high back in January 2018, and it failed to make a new all-time high during the 2021 bull run. Since then, its price has remained muted, and even when exciting or positive news events take place, the price of XRP remains disappointingly low, with many people believing this was caused by the SEC lawsuit. This has caused many people to give up and sell their coins in the fear that the project is dying. It is interesting to note that the 20-to-2 phrase matches up to the Phoenix Rising in two ciphers. In English gematria, we have a match at 1200, and in simple gematria, 200. Now, in legal terms, a trial is an official hearing of a lawsuit. A trial by fire is a test in which a person is exposed to a severe ordeal in order to determine their competence and determination to push through. It requires great strength, courage, and perseverance to overcome. So could the 4-year-long Ripple SEC lawsuit represent a trial of fire for XRP, in which it burns to ashes in order to be reborn and soar to new heights at a later date? And is this why the word perseverance appears in both the Bearable Guy 123 castle and ship riddles? Now, the Phoenix has also been associated with the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which brings us to the next topic of biblical connections. Topic 3. Deity and biblical connections. So earlier we mentioned Bearable Guy 123 gave us a Phoenix quotation, and that quotation was actually taken from a novel, The Parable of Talents by Octavia E. Butler, and that was published in 1998. So this novel is set in 2025, where the world is in financial crisis and everyone is deeply in debt and struggling to find work. There is a large problem with drugs and crime, and a presidential candidate called Andrew Steele Jarrett, a senator from Texas, and in his campaign speeches, he promises to make America great again. Some people will draw obvious parallels with a current presidential candidate, but it should be noted that the MAGA phrase was originally coined by Ronald Reagan back in 1980. There is an obvious biblical connection with the title of the book, as the parable of the talents is one of the parables of Jesus. It is in the canonical Gospels of the New Testament, Matthew 25:14 to 30. A talent, as referred to here, was a value of money or coin. A single talent back then was thought to be worth 20 years of work as a laborer and weighed 58.9 kilos in New Testament times. So yes, that's another 589 connection. In this parable, a master gives stewardship of some money to his servants. He gives different amounts of money based upon their individual abilities. 2 of the servants invest this money wisely and double their master's initial investment, and for this they are rewarded handsomely. The 3rd servant, however, chooses to bury the money in the ground and eventually gives back just the original amount of money to his master upon his return. His master is disappointed that he failed to take advantage of the opportunity afforded to him. The servant is thrown out, and the money that he returned to his master was given as a reward to the servant who made the most of his ability and opportunity. So does XRP represent a similar opportunity to gain great wealth for those that take action? Only time will tell. Other biblical connections. The 20-2 riddle matches with Lord Jesus Christ in the same two ciphers as the Phoenix Rising. These are English Gematria 1200 and Simple Gematria 200. There are multiple examples of Christian symbolism of the phoenix. For example, it is written in the Bible that Christ died and was resurrected 3 days later. Another interesting biblical connection that I will be focusing on here is the one hinted at by the 20-2 riddle. In Gematria, when dealing with the number 20, you would remove the 0 so that its numerical value becomes 2. In other words, 20 to 2. 20 to 2 can be written as a ratio, 20 to 2, and applying the rules of Gematria, this becomes 2 to 2. Now, the interesting thing about this is that in Matthew 2:2 of the New Testament, we are told of the Magi visiting the Messiah, saying, "Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him." This was taken from the KJV Bible. According to the Bible, the three Magi, or wise men, are said to have been guided to the birthplace of Jesus Christ by the Star of Bethlehem. Interestingly, Bearable Guy 123 also posted 3 very long posts titled Lodestar 1, 2, and 3. Lodestar, spelled Loadstar, is an alternative spelling for Lodestar, spelled Lodestar. Perhaps the most well-known lodestar today is Polaris, which has long been used as a point of navigational reference. Other biblical connections to the 20-2 riddle continued. Now, remember we talked earlier about the extremely close Great Conjunction that occurred between Saturn and Jupiter on the 21st of December 2020, which happened to be the start date of the Ripple SEC lawsuit? Well, the Star of Bethlehem is thought by many astronomers to have been a conjunction of bright planets in a similar vein to the Great Conjunction in 2020. There is some astronomical evidence to back that such an event may well have taken place around the period of time that Christ is thought to have been born. Interestingly, the Great Conjunction of 2020 has also been nicknamed the Christmas Star. Now, if that wasn't enough, going from the date that Ripple posted the 20-2 riddle, in other words, the 1st of April 2019, to the date of the beginning of the Ripple SEC lawsuit, the 21st of December 2020, there are exactly 20 months and 20 days. Once again, applying the rules of Gematria, we once again get 2 to 2. So not only does the 20-2 riddle point back to Matthew 2:2, where the Magi are guided to the birth of Christ by the Star of Bethlehem, the Christmas star, it also gives you a cryptic link to the exact start date of the Ripple SEC lawsuit via the Hebrew Gematria cipher. Again, the Gematria voodoo can be scarily on point at times. Topic 4. Final thoughts, and could XRP be just a sophisticated PSYOP scam coin? So the morale of XRP holders is at an all-time low right now. People are concerned that at any time, Ripple or another crypto company could just pull XRP2 out of nowhere to replace it and screw over the XRP holders. The reasoning behind this thinking seems to be that the man behind the curtain wouldn't let a regular person profit from it. This to me, however, seems already disproven by the number of stories around people that have already made large sums of money investing in various crypto projects in previous cycles. It would also make sense for there to be winners and losers in the market. If there were only losers, then there would be no participation. And it is pretty obvious that they do want our participation in order to bring crypto mainstream in the future. There are reports that show in 2022, the average American owned just $1,003 worth of crypto. Now, the majority of this is held in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the amount of retail participation in XRP is actually very low. Added to this, we can see from the XRP rich list that the top 10% of XRP wallet holders own just 3,000 XRP. At current prices, this is worth about $1,700, which is already significantly more than the average American holds over their entire crypto portfolio, let alone XRP itself. So we can conclude from this that the average American actually holds very little XRP. So earlier this year, Cryptocurrent released an interesting YouTube video that talked about how the reserve amount of XRP required to keep XRP wallets live could be adjusted to be as much as 4,294 XRP. Doing so would effectively freeze all of the top 10% bracket of XRP holder accounts without even adjusting the price. Those holders would need to have enough funds to purchase more XRP to bring it above the reserve requirement to unlock the account. But let's assume you have successfully held large amounts of XRP through all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You finally did it. You won the lottery. What then? There are reports that show most people are mentally unprepared for a sudden large financial windfall. Approximately 70% of lottery winners lose it all within 5 years. So the vast majority of these cases do not result in lasting generational wealth anyway. Looking at all of this, I don't think that the man behind the curtain is particularly worried about retail XRP holders getting wealthy off of it. As for myself, I am not a particularly big believer in astrology or gematria just yet, although I am aware that many very wealthy people do attach a lot of importance to things like this. I feel that sometimes the gematria numbers can be made to represent almost anything. But I do find it a fascinating subject, and I have to say some of the gematria connections are really quite surprising. If it is all just a big coincidence, then I have to say that it can sometimes be a very beautiful and perfect one. And going back to the subject of the elites releasing an XRP2 out of nowhere, what, are they going to pull another Saturn-Jupiter Great Conjunction out of their behind as well? Pardon my French. How about another 4-year lawsuit to gain legal clarity? But jokes aside, certainly anything is possible, and you should never invest more than you are prepared to lose. None of this decode is a financial advice. Right, I think that's about it. I think that's everything. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the quip, everyone has a book in them, but in most cases, that's where it should stay. That was attributed to Christopher Hitchens. Well, in 2024, I believe the same should apply to YouTube videos, and this rather crude example of one that I banged out in a few hours, like a last-minute college essay, is probably a strong testament to that. But at least I now have the YouTube video crossed off my bucket list. And to be honest, it was kind of fun to make. Don't ever say there's no enthusiasm in the XRP community. Thank you also to the 2 or so people, thank you mother, that come across this video for watching. I'd be interested to read any thoughts you might have on it or on XRP. Don't worry, I have a thick skin and I'm not planning on doing this again. May I take this opportunity to paraphrase the late Mr. Hitchens? Everyone has a YouTube video in them, but in most cases, that's where it should stay. Hungry Hip.